Nothing is certain but death and taxes, right? Have you heard that saying before? Hey there, Bogdan here, talking about taxes, tax season, and changing your mindset when it comes to taxes. I had to submit my tax return form this past Sunday. So during the weekend, I've spent quite a lot of time looking at numbers, lots of numbers. I am really proud of myself. I managed to fill in the tax return form in Czech, even though my Czech level isn't great, to say the least, especially when it comes to financial lingo. I'm really happy that Google Translate exists. The bad news for me, well, I need to pay about 4 times more income tax this year compared to my past year. The good news for me though, well, basically that also means my revenue went up compared to my previous years. And I am grateful for that. I am grateful for all my customers, my collaborators, all the people I've been working with in the previous year, and I'm grateful for that growth. Still, I know that many people are literally freaking out about the tax season. So I want to share some of my personal tips and strategies for coping with it. And many of them might be relevant for you even if you're not filling in a tax return and maybe your employer does it for you. Tip number 1, prepare for it. Don't leave all your receipts, invoices, reports for compiling on the last day. I usually set aside a day at the end of each month in which I'm arranging all the paperwork, crunching the numbers, recording everything in my spreadsheets. This helps me not only with my tax return forms, but also in knowing where I stand with my businesses and with my cash flow overall, if I am still growing or not. So I do recommend you to do this, even though you might not even have to fill in the tax return form. As I said, it will be very helpful for you trying to plan your budget and see more or less the expenses and what's coming in the future. Tip number 2, put money aside before you actually have to pay the taxes. First option, transfer 5 or 10% of any incoming revenue into a different bank account as soon as you receive the payments. You can start doing this for the next tax season, for example. Now, second option, if this is too much for you, let's say your cash flow isn't great just yet, you can instead think of a piggy bank. And in a cashless world, there are also options for digital piggy banks. I am using a service called Revolut, for example. Let me show you the card. It is a phone app that actually allows money transfers. It comes with a card, as I said, so I actually have a card I can use for payments as well. It's a top-up card. You can also have an optional travel insurance and many other features. It's actually a good service that I would recommend. One of the features that I was mentioning is called Vault. And this is the one that I want to talk about right now. Now, you can easily set up a vault and Revolut will round up any payment you make with your card and will add that difference to your vault. So let's say I'm paying 2.95 euros or US dollars at a shop somewhere. Revolut takes the extra 5 cents needed to round the number up from your account and puts them into a vault. Literally the equivalent of me getting the 5 cents I would have received in cash and dropping it into my physical piggy bank. So it's doing this in the digital world, as I said. I can also set a multiplier, which I really like. 2 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, in which case those 5 cents will be multiplied by 2, 4, 5, or 10. Now, the money in your vault are separate from your main account, so you are not tempted to use them. They are even displayed on a different screen in the actual app. Next year, when you have to pay your taxes, you could just empty your vault, use the money you had in the vault for paying the taxes or buying something nice for yourself should you have more than needed. So that's something that you can think about. Tip number 3, make the whole tax return filing process more enjoyable or fun. The whole booking process, right? Bookkeeping process. Now, I'm a numbers person, so I'm good with it. If you're not, think about outsourcing the whole process to somebody else. Let them do the work while you sit back, relax, and enjoy a cup of coffee. Or just use software to help you do it. Yes, both of these options will cost some money, but then again, so does your wasted time on trying to sort out all those numbers, right? You could invest it into generating some extra revenue. If that's not an option, or as I said, you just like numbers like me, change your environment so that it gets you more motivated to do it. I'm making small changes like using, for example, a fun colored folder to store all my invoices, receipts, and so on and so forth. It brings me joy just by looking at it. Another thing I'm doing, I'm of course using also colored pens and pencils for my invoices, highlighters, and whatnot. And you guessed it, my spreadsheets on my computer are also all colored. That helps me see the data much easier. And also, since you know I'm an essential oils fan, I also like to diffuse a blend called Abundance. Not only do I love the smell, but I can also envision abundance surrounding me while I'm using it, so I don't have to worry about the stress of taxes and paperwork. Oh, and remember that folder I mentioned? Yeah, you guessed it, it is baked in Abundance, so you can actually see some drops on it as well. Bottom line, whatever makes you happier or helps you enjoy the process more, do it. Don't let the stress and frustration creep in. Tip number 4, this is maybe the most important one of them all. The bigger picture is key, y'all. Change your mindset. I have friends who are literally frozen when it comes to taxes. They are frustrated. They blame the government for taking their money away. They consume a lot of energy and time thinking about them. But my question is, of what good is this? We'll still have to pay the taxes anyway. So better buckle up and get it done with. Oh, and while you're at it, change your focus from the taxes you have to pay to the extra revenue you can generate if you actually stop wasting energy blaming the government and start investing it in providing more value to your customers, collaborators, employer, depending on your situation. Guess what? That might just bring you more income to offset the taxes you have to pay. Now, this was a big milestone for me as well. At the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I was spending so much time and energy worrying about the fees that PayPal is taking from me, and so on and so forth. Yes, the fees are big, and it can turn into a big number. But then again, I still need PayPal for processing payments. So what good was wasting my energy and time being frustrated about it? And you guessed it, once I changed my focus from the fees to generating more revenue, things totally shifted. Same thing applies to taxes. Yes, it sucks when the government makes an overnight change and that totally messes up your calculations. No debate here, we are on the same page. But then again, are you maybe just using that as an excuse? Maybe. Did you really give all your best to providing value and cherishing your customers? Because that will definitely be reflected in your income as well. So, for the love of everything abundant, if you are using taxes as an excuse for your shortcomings, stop. Please stop. Go sniff some abundance oil, drink your coffee, double down on creating value, whatever works for you. That will take care of your future taxes as well. So, what's your take on taxes and tax season? How do you cope with it? Share your tips and tricks with us in the comments below, and do subscribe to this channel for more business building and mindset videos. And as usual, until next time, I am wishing you an abundant day. Don't let taxes stay in your way. Maybe I should become a poet. We'll see about that. For now, I'll stick to creating videos. Bogdan here, over and out. See you in my next video.